Kia ora, welcome back to another episode of Sharpen Up. Our Manu hiri today is Lima Sopoaga, fresh off a clutch-winning try for Waikato in the MPC. E mihi ana kia koe, Lima, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Kia ora, fam. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been awesome to be back in New Zealand, my family and my wife, and yeah, just happy to be back amongst the culture here.
Brother, can you just talk us through that show and go and what was going through your head?
Oh, like I was telling you before, bro, there was a lot of show, but there was no go. I looked to my right and I heard Tapia screaming for it. I just looked straight away, gave early. And I was like, yeah, bro, you got it. And he got ankle taps. So I was like, oh, I could get it back here. So I got a nice, easy try to help win the game.
Mean.
Yeah, that was buzzy because I watched the end of that. I sort of switched off watching the first half. I was like, oh, fuck. Waikato's out, Auckland's got it, and I got home.
No fake, Joe.
Oh, that was probably the game of the round for me. But yeah, when the bro went out the back to Lima and I saw their lock sort of fly up, I was like, oh, don't give the cuzzy that gap. And then sure enough, the bro took it. And then, bro, that's cold, bro, coming in with the with the ice in the veins. I was like, oh.
Bro, it's funny though, because I forgot we still had the kick to win, so I'm just glad Cruds was still ice cold to kick it, because I thought I had scored and the game was over. That's why I stood up like that.
True.
Nah, that was mean. It was mean to watch.
Bro, how did the Waikato, because I know you're a hard-out Welly man and we'll get into a bit of your story, but how did the Waikato link-up come about?
Oh, so obviously Floss was the coach, Ross Filippo. I played with him when I started in Wellington when I was like 18, and then I'd finished playing golf with my father-in-law, and then he wanted to go to the pub, and so we stopped at this pub that is called Flaggy's. And yeah, it's called Flaggy. And we rocked in, and Floss was sitting there with Sweeney, our backs coach, and another bloke. They were about 4 big Waikato drafts. Big bot seats. And then that's how it comes out. He sort of asked me, hey, bro, what are you up to? And then I just kind of said, just here with my family, doing drop-offs, making school lunches, all that stuff. And then he just looked at me and was like, bro, I'll give you a call.
Man, is that what I need to do?
And that's how it came about.
Floss, I'll meet you at Flaggy's next week. Uncle needs a job.
Just on that, bro, you said you were meant to not play until week 4, and then you got the call up in the weekend. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I I'm on just like a week-to-week contract. So if they need me, they'll ring me on Sunday and be like, yeah, sweet. So we played Hawke's Bay down in Taupo, and then on the Sunday he rang me. He goes, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, no, nothing, just about to go for a bike ride. It's, family day and my wife, and go to the markets and whatnot. He goes, oh, bro, you're in this week. And I was like, oh, yes, sweet. I'll come in and hold the tackle shields, all good. Yeah, help the boys get ready. He's like, no. You're in the 23. Bro, you said round 4.
And Lima, what was it like for you having to put on the Waikato uniform, being Wellington proud?
Yeah, obviously pretty proud to be from Wellington and what that means. But it was pretty cool to wear it. This is where my wife is from, and this is where my girls will grow up. And so to represent her and her whānau and where she's from is really special too. So yeah, it felt a bit weird, and but it was cool that see how happy sort of she was and the kids were And yeah, pretty cool.
Lovely.
Mean. Moving on, bro, I'd just like to mihi to you firstly for coming on, but and to share your story. Just like to know, where you grew up, a little bit about your upbringing and how you sort of fell in love with sport, bro.
Oh, so there's 6 of us kids, born in Wellington, 4 boys, 2 girls. I'm the oldest, and yeah, my parents just always loved sport. My mum and dad played it. They played all sorts of sports, and as a kid, they just really promoted being outside, playing sport, hanging out with your friends. And we come from a little place called Ellistown in Lower Hutt, and I got a good friend of mine, Jordan Kahu, and we grew up together, like maybe 50 meters down the road. And so that was kind of, me, him, my brother Toops, and Jared, and his brother, and we kind of just played all sorts of sports growing up. But rugby was always the big one. And we used to play for a club called Petone, and then we just always sort of had dreams of playing like rugby or whatever. But 2 of them went on and played in the NRL, and obviously George got to play for the Kiwis, and my brother played for the Cooks, and Jared ended up playing some like under 20s and NRL, I think, too, and NPC. So yeah, that's where the love for rugby come from, like my brothers and just being around them too as well.
With that brotherhood, Lima, including Jordan, what was it like when you all did achieve your dreams and see each other achieve your dreams, knowing that you all grew up just down the road from each other, played, I guess, when you're throughout your childhoods together, and then actually making it and seeing each other's dreams come true as well as your own?
Yeah, I think you sort of be a little bit more proud of when you see the other guys do it rather than yourself. Like, obviously it's you're really happy for yourself, but I've always felt that the proudest moments for me was watching those guys on TV and seeing them be successful, and that sort of inspired me to keep going hard and try my best and whatnot, and we're all able to sort of do it together, and it was pretty cool, and pretty lucky to have awesome brother and some great mates.
What was Jordan like growing up? Any yarns?
But honestly, I could never beat him, eh?
Hey.
But he was lightning. He was like, we used to go to like Colgate games and stuff and all that kind of stuff. But he was like freakish. Bro, one time he won the Colgate game and the track, and that was back then when he ran in big feet. There's like, I don't know, under 12s or 11s or something. He ran so fast on the track that he got like 3-degree burns on his feet and had to go to the hospital.
Too fast for his own good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you ever think about playing league, Lima, when you see the path that Jordan went down?
Yeah, for sure, because he went over to Kibra Park when we were at high school as well, and like you could watch all those kind of things on like TV, and it was a bit bigger back then, and then Union and NZ in terms of like being on TV and stuff, and you could see the Union there. You could see their league highlights and all that on YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, probably I don't probably like making tackles enough to want to play a league game. My cousins always tell us rugby players are too soft. And whatnot, and they were just like, you'll get smoked. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good lead into my next part, bro. And I know your parents played a lot of sports, and I know you and your siblings did. And one you haven't mentioned yet is touch. And I think that's probably where I first met you and seen you. And I was playing for the NTS. You're playing for Wellington. And I've always spoken about the contribution of touch to a lot of our great athletes. I think back to an under-19 New Zealand squad that I'm pretty sure you were named in there, and the likes of Sean Johnson and Bryn Hoare and a lot of Nehe Milner-Skara, a lot of our stars who've gone on to play in rugby and rugby league. What was the contribution of touch like for you, bro, growing up?
I think touch is such a great game. It has so many facets that transfer to rugby. But for me, like, touch was just a fast, dynamic, exciting game, and you could use your skill. And it was all about, back then it was just straight, get on the 5, give it back, have a whack, and I think that's what excited it. And then, like, also with touch, I kind of find back then, like, everybody's a little bit swaggy and stuff. They got the haircuts going on, and the cool boots, and everybody's kind of like trying to put the board out, and they get up and they throw it back to halfway. So I reckon it's all those kind of things that make touch so great.
Mean, bro. And do you remember the Parekura twins, bro? Were you inspired by them in Wellington?
Those two, they always had the like hissing Dragon Ball Z blonde hair and whatnot, and little slits in their eyebrows.
Was it going back to footy, I think I saw a while back and you ran waters for the Cooks one time.
When your brothers were playing.
When your brothers were playing, would there be an opportunity for you again to maybe possibly don the Cooks with your bros?
I'm not too sure. I'd love to. I think my stand down period's coming up for Samoa too, so I'll probably be available as well. But yeah, I'd definitely love to do that. Like watching them don the jersey and sing the anthem and being around the Lama Island culture was special as well. But it's obviously different when you're in a coaching capacity, but still really, really cool.
Yeah. And what was it like going back to Sa with the Manu? Because at that time, man, like a lot of you ex-All Blacks and all that went back to have a jam, and like for us back here, it was amazing to see, like giving back to your country.
Yeah, it was super special. Like it meant not a lot. I mean, it meant more to my grandmother and like what it meant to my family and the villages we're from. That's why you saw like a lot of the guys who play for the islands like give up a lot, and it's never about the money playing for them. You're often spending money to play for them, and you're giving up a lot, and your wife is giving up a lot, and your kids, and I really got to thank my wife for being able to let me chase that dream out. She was in Japan for 9 weeks in a new country with our 3 kids, and I couldn't have done it without her.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was that experience like for you, Lima? Because we've had players on the podcast, they speak about going into these environments like the Māori All Blacks. What was it like for you going into Manu, Samoa?
It's very emotional. A lot of things in there you really can't explain. Probably similar to play for the Māoris.
Yeah.
You sing all these waiatas songs, and you learn about your culture deeply, and you hear the language more. Guys are speaking Samoan around you, and as someone who's a non-speaker, you're like really taken back about some of that stuff, and you learn from boys who grew up in the island and what they grew up like, and it's just a wonderful cultural experience, and I wish everyone got to experience it. It was really, really special, and I'm so grateful that I got to put the blue on, and I wish more people get to sort of experience their culture in that way, where it's with the Māori All Blacks, Samoa, Fiji, etc. Because it is special,
Bro, you talk about you as a New Zealand-born Samoan being able to put on the blue. What were some of the emotions and tools that you use to reconnect yourself to your Samoan heritage? Because a lot of our players that we've had on the podcast, we've had some Australian-born Māori and reconnecting to their culture here in Aotearoa. What are some of the tools that you use in terms of the language and getting, what sort of mindset did you have going into that camp, bro?
I think like at the start, I was really apprehensive and really nervous because you're going into an environment where you don't feel comfortable, and they probably same for guys who maybe go into the Māori All Blacks who aren't as connected as some of the other boys or don't speak the language, kind of feel a sense of shame or embarrassment. But whether you speak Samoan or not, or fully in that culture you're Samoan, and that's all that matters. That blood runs through your veins, and that's what they really push. And if you want to learn, there's always guys in there who want to help you out. And for me, I just wanted to learn all the songs and listen to some of the boys from the islands, and even when they were speaking and stuff that I couldn't understand, I was just quite happy to be amongst it. And it's really, really cool. And some of the songs I learn, I still sing now to my kids before they go to bed and stuff. So it's little things like that you take with you and keep with you, and you just got to keep trying your best as much as you can, and hopefully you get there. There's no sort of right or wrong way to go about it.
And what's that journey been like for you then as well, Lima, having lived over in France and over in Japan and being so far away, I guess, from your whānau here where you grew up, but also being immersed in different cultures with different languages?
Mr. Worldwide.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Namaste.
For me, like being in countries that English isn't the first language, I think it's so important. Like language is so important. We're from a place that I'd love to see more of Māori language spoken day to day, and it embraced more by everybody. I think it's wonderful, and I think more people should try and learn Māori if they can, like even pronunciation of the words and things like that. But growing up, seeing different cultures and how they embrace their language and how special it is, it's awesome. And but it is really hard as a non-speaker, and sometimes you're just like, wow, my brain just...
But you did learn French, right?
Yeah, I learned French. And the good thing about like French is like it's sink or swim over there. Like the French are pretty tough. I kind of get it why a lot of people don't like them, because you move there for the first day and they just like, bro, why don't you speak French? Stuff like that. But once you learn a language, you kind of think, man, it'd be cool to learn some more. Like I met some awesome people, and between the certain couple, that became really good friends. Like they spoke 9 languages fluently between them. Yeah. So I like English is sweet, but we could do more here in Aotearoa.
Speaking of that, Uppy, you saw a beautiful post from Lima that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I did see your post. You're at the local cafe, and you did see a couple of non-Māori having a conversation in Te Reo Māori. Could you share that little kōrero experience with us, bro?
Yeah, so I was having a little coffee with my youngest daughter, and I was sitting there, and bro, I just turned to my left and I heard these 2 Pākehā people speaking fluent Māori, and I was just like, holy hecker. And then like they were just conversing for a good 30-45 minutes, and like it wasn't always perfect. Sometimes I go back to English, but they were just speaking Māori, and I sort of waited for a break, and I just sort of thought, oh, excuse me, you know, like, are you guys Māori? And I was like, oh, no. And one guy, the guy, he was like Irish as, like, his accent was like, I actually probably understood more when you're speaking Māori than we did. His accent was that strong. I was like, hey. And yeah, the lady was Pākehā from Christchurch, and they meet up once a week, they reckon, to keep it up and to keep practicing. And so I thought it was such great interaction and pretty cool to see.
That's mean.
You might have to go have your coffee with them every week, bro.
I've got enough Māori coming back home. Just my waha.
All the kupu ho, eh? All the new words coming home.
Just hopefully they don't learn all those bad ones.
But what's that been like for you, Lima, as an experience being a girl dad and raising your daughters around the world and then finally getting to bring them home to Aotearoa?
It's been a little bit bizarre in the sense that they couldn't understand a lot of the stuff that went on here. Because to them, New Zealand was a place they came for a holiday. Like, this is now their fourth country that they're starting to learn or start again from. So for them, like, everything is foreign. Like, in the first week, my daughter's like, Dad, why do kids not wear shoes to school? you know, like stuff like that. And then, like, we would be, like, we drove to Wellington to see my family, and we'd go for new cities, and my daughter Isla's like, oh, Dad, what country are we in? And I'm like, hey? And she's like, yeah, we're in a new place. What country are we in? But, like, to them, we used to drive to Switzerland. Or we used to drive to Spain or drive to Italy. So, and being here, they're like, and I said, oh, we're just on the island in the middle of nowhere, and there's no country attached to us. And then my daughter's like, oh, this place is dead. I was like, you know, so they're starting to get to understand this place, and it's pretty cool to be able to share where I'm from and my wife is from, but this is where my wife is from, and this is the region she's grown up, so she's really happy to be here, and it's important that they get to have this cultural experience now too.
You've got a pretty rugby strong whānau, bro. You spoke about your parents, your mum, your auntie was a Black Fern, your sister played in Super Rugby Aupiki. With your girls, sporting-wise, how are we looking? What are you thinking? What kind of sport would you put them into? Or have you got nothing to do with this? It's not your choice.
They played a lot of rugby overseas.
Cool.
But at the moment, they're my daughter's football man, my oldest, and they're currently right now in jiu-jitsu. Nice. And they do that a lot. And they love jiu-jitsu. But my shoulders and arms and my throat doesn't like it, because I'll be sitting there and I'll just be like... tap, 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 tap. So I'm really enjoying watching them do jiu-jitsu. But yeah, whatever sport they want to do, like, it doesn't matter to us as long as they're doing something and keeping active. Sport's such a great avenue to grow yourself as a person and meet people and make friends for life. So that's why we try and encourage our kids to play sport.
Bro, you spoke about being all around the world. You've played at the highest with our All Blacks. You've shared the field with some of our greatest athletes in rugby. Who's one athlete that sort of stands out for you, one of your teammates, and how has he or she inspired you in your career or in life?
I think the athlete that most inspired me, and probably a lot of guys, and I got to spend some serious time with him, was Sonny Williams. No matter how much hate he gets, I'll stand on the hill that he's one of our greatest athletes to ever live. And he truly is the ultimate professional in everything that he did, what he was, and he knows he wasn't always perfect, and he was always wanting to share that, and that was pretty cool. He would always share like the good things and the bad things about his life. But yeah, definitely him.
So is that you bit of boxing then?
No, I get boxed enough from my kids.
He said he didn't want to play league either.
On daddy duties
Yeah,
there.
hey.
Bro, when you look at your time in the All Blacks, what stands out to you?
I think I wish I really enjoyed the moment more in the All Blacks. Like, it's so high pressure, and you're always focused on like week to week, and always being better and always striving. But I think sometimes you forget to stop and smell the roses and where you're at, and this is what you worked your whole life for. I think it really hit me when they were up here, when we got to go to the captain's run and take my kids and whatnot, and show them what it was all about.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was amazing, like to see what it was and what it is and how cool it is. And I don't think you have enough time in that environment to step back and be like how cool it was. I wish I did that more, but for me, that's something I think about a lot.
My phone.
And when you look at back at Super Rugby, bro, and your time there, what stands out to you as a highlight? I think I know what you're going to say, but you tell us what stood out to you as a highlight, and what do you miss?
Oh, obviously winning 2015. That's that's right up there in my rugby memory book. I definitely miss the travel.
Really?
I think guys are so unlucky now that they don't get to travel to South Africa.
Yeah.
Like that's like life-changing moments, and like seeing things over there that you're just like, wow, like breathtaking, but also heartbreaking,
Yeah.
And I think that gives you a better perspective on life. And I think guys in Super Rugby are just unlucky to miss that, and that's probably what I miss. I don't miss doing Jamie Joseph's bloody trainings though.
Hey, what was your surf to peak placing for the Canes, bro?
Nah, I never done that.
Man, yeah, it's the word. Have you heard of it? No. Surf to peak? I've done it once. I wouldn't do it again.
Hey.
Nah, it's like a bike. It's like a Tour de France from, where is it? Miramar or some. It's on the Island Bay. Have to bike all the way around all the bays till you get to the bottom of Mount Vic, and then it's just a straight climb, straight almost to the top.
No, thank you. So Lima, what is next for you? If you can share with us, or what's on the horizon? I'm
not really too sure. My family lived here my second year of my contract, so I was going back and forth. So I was kind of like a FIFO worker.
Yeah.
4 to 7 weeks on, 1 week off. And I just don't know if that's sort of feasible for the future. So I'm not too sure. I think I still got a bit of juice in the legs. So
I think after watching on the weekend, you definitely do.
Yeah. Any Super Rugby teams out there looking for a 10 now? I can play 12. So
there you go. You heard it here first.
Anton's leaving to Japan for a sabbatical.
Yeah.
I'll look after his locker for a
Fill
bit.
the spot.
Why not? You're already there.
Jamie Joe might give you a call.
Whoa. That'll be a hard call to pick up.
What
He'll
about
tell me I got 1 day to decide.
what about will we be seeing you on the Everyday People potty, bro, with your brothers?
Oh, I'm not too sure about that. They just rinse me or ask me.
Yeah, true.
Those guys, man. They're asking for it.
What's it been like coming back and reconnecting with your whānau, bro? Because I understand I was overseas for 5 years as an athlete, and you've been overseas for many years, as you said, and that feeling of being home and being able to go and have Sunday dinner with your whānau. Or are you able to?
Or drive down to
just-
Wellington.
Yeah,
Or
drive down to
Wellington,
Wellington and
Yeah.
have that time.
Yeah, obviously, where I'm from, my whānau's in Wellington. So when I get the time, we go down there. And I'm really close with my grandmother, so I get to see her a lot. And if you still have a grandparent around, it's a pretty special thing, and not everybody has them. So she's the last one I got, so I really like spending time with her. But it's been really great being in Hamilton too, and connecting with my wife's family. I know she's yearned for that for a long time, and we're sort of overseas for 8 years, and getting to meet, like her mum and her dad and their partners and her brother who lives here, and he's got 3 kids. So, that's such a cool thing for us too, And it's just good to meet new friends and family here up here.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. I'm going back to. I know you mentioned playing for SAR. There was like no money. You went in it for the money, and I know the boys that do go and play for SAR or Tonga, they do miss out on a bit of pay. But is there? I guess what advice would you give the younger boys who are eligible to play for SAR, but then have to choose between their professional contracts or their country? Because I know it's tough on those boys.
I think, it's a tough one. It's no right or wrong answer. But, you have to look at it from, your own eyes and decide what's best for you. Some guys are just like, they bleed blue and that's everything for them. So the other guys use rugby as an avenue to make their life better, and sometimes playing for the islands doesn't financially benefit them, and they have to sacrifice that in order to take contracts in Japan and France and England and stuff, because once you get capped, it can be pretty hard to get into certain leagues and things like that. So, it's really, really tough, and I don't be those guys, but some guys are really like, just decide, that's where their dream has always been, and their dream is what it is. And some guys decide to use rugby as an avenue to help them better their life and better their families life. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong either.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lima, while we have you, we're just going to get into our sport chat. So we'd love to know your opinion and what you've been keeping up with. So we'll start with rugby. In your expertise area, the All Blacks were named earlier today. They've got tests coming up against Argentina, South Africa and Australia. You went to the Hamilton test, I believe. And just your thoughts on the All Blacks, how they're looking, especially with these tests coming up beginning Sunday, the 16th of August.
Oh, the All Blacks are always shaky in June, but I think we saw as the tests got, second and third test, they did start to get better and better. So another 2 games in Argentina will do them really good. And, there's obviously a few new boys being named, a few injuries. So you're going to see, probably more guys getting opportunities. And I think it'll be all really big for that South African test at Eden Park, which is, there's a lot on the line. And I think they'll be gearing those 2 tests up.
Yeah, and that's the 6th of September. So they've got, those Argentina tests to sort themselves out, Joe.
It's funny because Aussie was always our big test.
Yeah.
But because we don't play the South Africa now, that everything's just pushed into trying to beat or play those boys. And Argentina's going to be tough. That's 2 weeks on the road away. And like Lima said, we're going to see some new bloods come through. We've already seen the injury cover, and they look pretty handy. But I can't wait till they get back, and I'll try and get along to that.
Yeah,
First
maybe we'll
test.
have to do a sharpen up episode
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Surely some
See how many strings we can pull.
Get us in the box.
Any
I've got
media
it.
pass.
Yeah, media.
Us,
Hey, that's us.
us four.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
head along.
us. Come up, Sops, and we'll get us in there.
Yeah.
You mentioned Australia. The Wallabies played the Lions on the weekend. They beat them 22-12. Api, you were interested because there was that lightning delay.
Yeah, no,
That
I've
went
actually,
for quite a while.
yeah, I've actually enjoyed that Lions Aussie series, and to see Aussie get over and get a win was pretty mean. And yeah, that sort of a lightning
Interesting.
40-minute delay. Seeing all the players sitting on bean bags,
Yeah, just hanging out.
chilling out. Has that ever happened to you, Lima?
Nah. The only thing that's happened is lightning strike in Japan for training, and they cancelled training. So I was like, choo.
Yeah, cheering.
Honestly, if I had to sit for 40 minutes, bro, I'd be like, sorry, coach, I'm done.
Yeah, you'd be seized up, freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, especially for me at this age, mate, I got to keep the oil hot. As soon as it cools down.
Yeah, once it cools,
Yeah.
I feel you.
The Toyota engine is no good.
Yeah. But the cool thing for me was why I followed that Lions tour a lot was seeing a lot of our Kiwi boys, you know, representing in that team, and seeing them represent and you know, play at that level and represent our country. We'll always claim them as Kiwis, even though they're repping you know, the Lions too. So no, it was pretty cool.
Jamo and Loie are your
Yeah.
most Māori,
Yeah.
Māori boys there.
Yeah. And old Bundy too.
And Bundy
Bundy.
as well.
He was sitting on the beanbag, just chilling out. Lima, did you follow the Lions tour?
Yeah, I actually did. Probably more so for the Lions because I was lucky to play up here in Europe. So
Yeah.
I've actually played against a lot of those guys, you know, and actually some of those guys have over the years become my friends or things like that. And I really enjoy the game up the north, like especially in the Prem and in the top 14. But the only reason why I think we don't follow is it's that, you know, terrible hours of the night, and none of us are actually getting up at 3 a.m. to watch, you know, Toulouse play Toulon and things like that. So I don't think we have a really good appreciation for the north just because we don't see it.
Yeah.
And so when you've been in it and played it, you're like, this is actually a really sick game up here, and like the fans are amazing, and like even like Six Nations and things, stuff like that. It's actually really great competition. That's why I reckon the Lions.
Bro, what's your whakaaro? What's your insight on, you know, you've played at the top level here in Aotearoa, and you've gone and played in the top level over there. What do you think is the big difference, the key difference between the code?
Yeah, it depends where you play, but like New Zealand and what we have here is just like, even coming back and being with Waikato is just like, we really enjoy using our skills first. So it's, you know, like it's skill based first. Like everyone's got to catch a pass, everyone's got to be able to feet. Whereas like over there, sometimes they're just be a big unit.
Just win the scrum.
You know, yeah, you know, like, and then whereas like we focus here on skill and pace, whereas sometimes they're just big groups, and then that comes, you know, they try to figure it out the other way, but we go skill and speed and then put on size if we need to, I guess. But in terms of support, like I reckon top 15 is probably the best league. Like we would play 9 p.m. on a Sunday night, and that's the main game of the weekend. And you could get 25,000 to the stadium.
Yeah, see, it's unreal.
Unreal.
Playing at night.
Yeah.
Playing in the dark.
Yeah, 9 p.m, bro. And there's kids everywhere.
Yeah, fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks.
That's exactly it.
But that's the thing, like here in New Zealand, fans don't come until either your team's making
Yeah.
like the finals, and that's when you see stadiums pack out, whereas up there Like
They love it.
They love it. Doesn't regardless of who's playing who or
Yeah.
what game it is. That it's packed.
And
Lima-
to be honest, they probably have a better fan package. Like when I was playing in Lyon for a team called Lou, like fans would get there 3-4 hours before the game
Yeah.
because they have stuff going on at the stadium. You know, they have like food trucks, music, you know, like stuff for the kids
Fishing.
and like Christmas. You know, like things like that to entice people to come
Yeah.
enjoy their day. Not just they don't come just for the 80 minutes.
Yeah.
They also come for like the hours before, and then afterwards there'd be like big DJs, and they'll stay for like hours after.
Take note.
Yeah. Lima, what's the whakaaro in the Northern Hemisphere of our rugby down here? Because we've had discussions on this podcast where it's like the two hemispheres are going at each other. And like you said, we don't really get to see the Northern Hemisphere, so we don't get the chance to appreciate it as much. And there was, even in the comments, we had listeners going at each other from around the world. So what's the whakaaro up in the Northern Hemisphere about rugby down here and the players?
Well, in the north, they're lucky because our games are played at night. So if we play a 7:30 game, it's on in the morning when they're having breakfast. So everybody gets to see all rugby.
Yeah.
So they understand it and enjoy it too. A lot of it, I feel up north, like some of my teammates, especially in the English Premier, they're like, "You guys just play touch rugby down there. Where's the defence?" Like, oh, guys are getting whacked left, right, and centre. You've got to strap your ankles. But yeah, that's the kind of comments I would get sometimes, is that it's a bit touch rugby-ish, you know, like way more free-flowing. You know, like, yeah, a bit Rasley, but not so much focus on the dark arts. Like, you'd play some teams and it's just like more scrum, more. And that's no fun if you're a back, but as a forward, you know, up there, some teams really enjoy the dark arts of that, and obviously, Joe, you can appreciate that, but you don't want to be doing 10 million
But
scrums,
you don't want to be doing heaps of scrums.
Yeah, but up there they love it.
I'd love them more though. Just kick on the back of those mauls, be tries for days.
Well, Joe and Lima, I'd love to know how you're both feeling about MPC starting up now.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Wow. Being out of it,
Yeah.
I still feel, man, just if one
One
of the
more
teams,
year.
if one of the teams rang me, and I'll be like boots straight in the truck, straight to wherever it is. But just watching the next gen come through, and we need provincial rugby to thrive.
Yeah.
You know, we need it to be special. So our next lot of rugby players coming through get to enjoy MPC, because that was my favourite time of the year too. Like Super Rugby and Māoris were like, you had to be real serious, where at MPC you could express yourself, or you know, like Heartland, express yourself a bit more and have a bit of fun.
Bit
But
of flair.
yeah, the Waikato Auckland was probably my game of the round. That and Bay of Plenty.
So we're trying to get you into an MPC team. We're trying to get Lima into a super team. I see what's happening here on this episode. But Lima, for you, obviously we spoke about you getting involved with Waikato, playing for them. But just the MPC, your thoughts on the MPC competition as a whole, and as Joe said, needing our provincial rugby to thrive here?
Yeah, it's so wicked. Obviously, I've been out of the game for 8 years from this place, so to come back and reconnect, that's wicked. And there's some great talent coming through the ranks, and it's awesome that like, you know, teams still value sort of older guys, because it is a young at MPC, it's a young person's game kind of thing, but there's still room in here for older guys who have been around, who can share their experiences, can help some of these young guys, you know, through the sort of like the pitfalls of rugby and, you know, the politics of it all. And but it's the game in rugby is built on provincial and the grassroots, and we need to be strong and need people to support, and but also, you know, like each team can probably do more, I reckon, to grow the game, but outside of just the rugby, you know, and that looks like, like social media, building your pages and all that, like fan engagement, and all that kind of thing, and just trying to really expose individual characters because that's what the game needs, And I think we need to push more our players to sort of, either run their own accounts more or as a provincial union run their own accounts really good.
Yeah. And Api, for you, Heartland starts next week. Are you going to try and recruit these two here?
So I just finished week 1 of my pre-season. The challenge is still alive, Whānau.
Doing well, bro. You're doing well.
I dropped 2 kilos, Whānau, in the first week.
We won't ask how many to go.
But yeah, the Heartland starts. We got our big clash, Ngāti Porou East Coast against Poverty Bay. In Gisborne.
First game.
Yeah. Joey, bit of kōrero.
Those will be some deadly huckers.
You win the haka, you win the game.
I'd just like to chuck a quick mention into the Ruatoria sub-union.
Oh, yeah.
In the weekend on Sunday, they won the Barry Cup. Which they haven't won for over 50 years, which is a taonga, a trophy that gets played on the East Coast, Poverty Bay. And they went over to Wairoa, who have held it for the last 3 years, and got the W. So big mihi to the brothers who backed up after the pre-season on Saturday, and they were into the Barry Cup game on Sunday. So yeah,
nice. And how are you feeling about Heartland?
Yeah, this is week 2, so we got one more pre-season on Saturday against Eastern Bay of Plenty, and then hopefully the knee's good to go in Tolaga.
Yeah. You ready? You'll be ready to go for that first game?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully the knees good to go and the weights dropped.
They need the tuakana there, bro. P Bay's not going to be easy.
Yeah, hard out. Yeah, it's going to be
Just jump in that water, go for a dive. That'll
a few kinners will do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Well, that might bring your girl on.
Well, speaking of diving and fishing, I'm going to move us to netball and Api's comments last week about how we improve netball, and you said it needs to be a bit like fishing in the dark, netball in the dark. And in Australia, in their grand final, the Vixens beat the Fever by 1 point. It was an absolute spectacle. But we were very surprised, or I wasn't actually, to see they actually did do, to an extent, netball in the dark.
I was about to say, what?
Fox Sports.
They were listening.
They were listening.
You never know who's listening.
They commented on the post. They said, got it, netball in the dark. And I said, I'll be watching the grand final this weekend. But they did do it well, and there were pyros. There were fireworks, all of it. But Api, you were impressed by the way that they were able, obviously they had this plan, but what we said are how to make netball more appealing, and they did that over in Australia. Yeah,
I think Lima just touched on it, how, the fans over in the Northern Hemisphere, it's like a daily thing for the, like it's a day event for the whānau. And that was what I was sort of trying to get across, and I'm happy. Thank you, Fox Aotearoa, for listening. but what's your thoughts, bro? To getting yourself to a netball game, what needs to, to happen to get you there?
Or just to make it more appealing, or when you're down there in Waikato, what would make you want to take your kōrero along to watch, say, the Magic?
Yeah, I guess, if there's things before the game, or, if they have kind of, I just think back to my time in France, they had like little things where kids could kick things over like little mini posts, and like they had like face painting, and one time they had like dart throwing, and you could throw the dart and pop the balloons and maybe like win stickers and things like that. I think
it's not about the game itself, make it an event.
Because half the time the kids don't even watch the game.
No. And the parents are trying to
you want their
grab
money
the
to
kids.
come to the game.
Yeah.
So how are you going to get into the game? You've got to make it so that, they're excited for 20 minutes, but they've gone in, they've paid you the money for the ticket, and they might have left early, but do you know what I mean? Or things more enticing.
It's kind of like that carnival sideshow sort of vibe.
Carnival event. Like you said before, Lima, food trucks. all of the above. But in good news for netball here in New Zealand, Netball New Zealand did sign the TV deal with TVNZ, so all the ANZ Premiership games next year will be live and free to air, which is great for the game because I know we've had a lot of guests and myself on this show talking about it. We've been we've been trying to come up with how we help netball. So I think that this is a good step forward in the right direction.
So, Netball New Zealand, we're watching that final.
Maybe.
And you know what? Sharpen Up had some good Waikato.
Yeah.
Fox took it.
And they used it. Now we're in commentary next year.
In the dark.
And just before we wrap up, we have to talk about the NRL. Lima, are you on the Waz bandwagon? Did you watch their game on the weekend?
They kill my picks every week. Like I back the boys, and this is what annoyed me. Is like we have this backs chat here in the Waikato team, so I think we chucked like $10 into someone's TAB account, and so it was insides, midfields, and outsides had to pick a leg. And the boys were like, "Nah, we'll stay away from the Waz. Stay away from the Waz." Bro, I was like, "Boys, Waz got us. They were rubbish."
They won't go 2 in a row.
They won't go 2 in a row. Like they would have heard their fans last week abusing them. So I was like, "Nah, they're getting it." And then I was like, "Oh, this can't be happening." But nah, it's up the Waz until I don't know. They win it all, but come on, boys, stay in today.
Uppy, Joe, your thoughts on that game? Because they ended up losing 20-18. Dolphins score pretty much right at the end.
I thought they were pretty lucky to be there. I thought that the Dolphins blew about 4 or 5 tries. So I was quite lucky to. And that just shows the resilience of the squad that Webby's built this year. They just find a way to win. And obviously that last play, Misako in the corner.
Against Roger too, who was having a great game. He got over 300 run meters. He did everything he could. And
that was tough though. Roger was out there by himself.
Yeah.
Like if you there's the wide view on it, and he's got 3 guys he's got to try and mark. I don't know.
I was on the sideline for Fox in commentary, and then there's about 7 minutes to go. Waz are up, and they're into my earpiece. They're like, "Oh, Coco, we won't give you our interviews yet. We're not really sure. It's still pretty close." I said, "Yeah, okay, to buy, all good." 2 minutes to go. They're like, "Right, we're going all Warriors, Roger first, then you're going into da-da-da-da-da." And then next thing I know, they cancel that. It's all Dolphins, all Dolphins. I said, "Oh, never mind the questions I just organised. Sweet. I'll just go out freestyle."
But it was a weekend of NRL upsets, My Raiders lost to, a poor Dragons.
Well, most of the top
Dragons
teams
played well,
lost, apart from the Storm.
Raiders, Bulldogs.
Bulldogs lost to Tigers.
Waz.
Uppy, you were blown away by the Panthers just beating the Titans by 1 point.
Cleary's, man. He's a goat.
Yeah.
That play, going...
he's not goat yet.
Nah,
Until he wins State of Origin,
wins the 5th one.
Mate, he can have all the premierships, but as long as when he wins a State of Origin, then...
He's the Aotearoa.
He's the Aotearoa, bro.
Lima, your thoughts on Nathan Cleary?
Oh, he's...
As a playmaker, as a kicker?
Unreal. Like, freakish. But obviously, he does the work. Big moments, big players. It seems like every time it's a pressure moment, he sort of like grows and embraces it and loves it. And that's why they've won 4. Not just because of him, but he is definitely a key cog in the machine.
Yeah. Lima, did you have a question for Uppy? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what do you reckon about the trainer running in front of the kicker?
Bro, up to. That was
out of
That's
it.
gamesmanship, eh?
Yeah,
Bro.
man. And he sort of looked across at him too. Like, he knew what he was
doing.
And that was... Bro, has anyone ever done that to you as a goal kicker? Well, what's
Or tried to put you off or anything? The
no
fans
rubbish
even?
thrown at you?
I reckon the worst is in the UK is that they go silent.
Oh.
So the whole crowd's dead silent.
Yeah.
That was pretty weird. Because like, you know, when you hear the boos and people throwing stuff, it just becomes noise.
Yeah.
But like that, you can literally hear a pin drop.
So got to hold that fart in, eh?
Yeah. Some just let them out.
But that was that's weird because when Oatesy was on and he spoke about when we played Munster and how when he was kicking it went like dead silent. I was out there as his T-boy. I felt nervous for him. I couldn't know. Like Lima said, there's like noise is noise, and you can get through that. You're trained for that, but when it's dead silent, you know your whakaaro start going elsewhere.
And just the other game I want to mention is a shout out to Benji. His Tigers beat the Doggies 28-14. There was a lot of heart in that game, I feel, with the Tigers coming up against Lockie Galvin. Nice moments post-match where they all shook hands, had words with each other. It was actually lovely to see. But, during that game, you could just see the heat and the heart that was in it, but a good win for Benji. We're going to wrap up now.
Just before that, I'd like to jump in and talk about the Stick With It campaign led by GI.
Yeah.
And our great friend Kennedy, who was here on the potty a few weeks ago. She had her first game back, and just speaking about, oranga hinengaro, about mental well-being. Promoting, I think that's still a huge kaupapa in the game and professional sport, and I'm all about making sure all the channels are getting out to all our athletes that to stick with it.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. With the Goanna Academy, that was great to see. Lima, to finish up our show, we always have a sharp as or sharpen up moments of the week, so I'll give you everyone a moment to think of sharpen up moments. But while we do that, Uppy, you want to talk of just locally, there's Tipene Camp coming up.
We got a shout out to Tipene, the kura. They got a camp, over 450 students from across the motu, and this camp's targeted at those kids who aren't yet picked up. They're sort of in our rural areas or under the limelight at the moment, and it's a camp to upskill some of those kids and create pathways for them. So shout out to Tipene.
Sure.
And then Ruatoria Sub-Union.
Yeah, I mentioned that they won the Barry Cup after 50 years. Yeah.
And they defend it this weekend?
They defend it this weekend against TVC, who are the current champions of the East Coast competition. Yeah.
All right. Well, my sharp as moment for the week, I've got two. One will be our Wahine team, the NRLW. Yep. They got the win over the Cowboys, women 12-6. So I'll give a shout out to them. And then my other sharp as moment is we had Maya Wilson on the show from the Silver Ferns and Stars Netball. Her and Remy Kamel. Remy Kamel, she grew up in Australia, in Queensland, but her dad is from here, and she whakapapa's back here to Aotearoa. She'd never been to the Chatham Islands, where her dad and her iwi are from, so her and Maya went across to the Chatham Islands and ran some netball clinics for the kids over there, which they've never had before, to get Silver Fern and then two elite netballers over there, just giving back to the local community. So they're my sharp as moments for the week.
Sure. I've got a sharp as moment. Just on the weekend, our under-21s won their final, respective finals. So that makes it three of our top teams at our club taking out championships, all undefeated. So Premier Men's, our women's, and our 21s.
Nice.
First time, in Auckland history apparently, that the three main teams in a club win. And also a shout out to my niece, her and her mates at Rotorua Girls High at the boarding house down there. They're big fans of the show, so
thank you.
Just want to give her a shout out. She said, "Can I get her on the podcast next time?" I said, "Do something Mickey at school and we'll get you in."
My sharp as moment's got to be the bro, Lima, your show and go, brother. It sort of blew up my screen, my social media, and I'm like, holy heck, he's back. Let's message him and get him on the potty. But to see you still out there, bro, after 8 years and coming back and just making a statement, still got it. Big mihi to you. Sharpen up moment. I put up a story yesterday just saying what weight I'm at, and I've had so much backlash, so I'm going to sharpen up and not put that on my story.
That was brave. That was brave.
To all my so-called mates messaging me, calling me a puaka.
Brother, I was impressed with that. Honestly, I was like, I wish I was that, bro. So, big mihi to you for that.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Over to you, brother.
My sharpest moment goes out to my daughter's Woodstock Warriors football team. They won in the weekend. And
Nice.
I stood in for the coach who wasn't available, so I'm 1 from 1. As a football coach.
Yes.
I'll take that and I'll retire on that.
Yeah.
1 from 1. So happy for that.
Nice. Well, Lima, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Sharpen Up. We appreciate your time for joining us, and thank you to your wife and your whānau, your kiddies, for allowing you to come on the show with us. Mihi ana kia koe. Thank you so much for your time. Also to our sponsor, Beard Brothers, thank you very much for looking after us, our listeners, also to Groove Bar. But yeah, it's been a great episode of Sharpen Up, and we'll see you all next week.
Che che.
See you next week. Thank you.